Recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. We have a gratitude practice today as it's the day before Thanksgiving. We're going to blend a yin yoga class, which are longer held poses deep into the connective tissue, focusing on the breath and relaxation. I'm going to combine those with positive affirmations and a few quotes that I will share with you today. Be sure if you are in the pose and we're holding it for a long time, you feel like you need to adjust, come out of the pose, feel free to do that earlier if you'd like. If you're watching this later on YouTube and you'd like to hold the poses longer, it's great to click the pause button and just stay in the poses for as long as you like. Yin yoga poses are typically held from anywhere from 2 minutes on the low side up to 6, 7, even 8 minutes on the high side if you're relaxed and feeling comfortable in the pose. So we're going to focus on a two-part breath today. So the breath begins as you inhale into the belly, it expands forward. You keep inhaling and the ribs expand laterally out to the side. Then as you exhale, the ribs collapse in and the belly falls. So we'll be using that two-part breath throughout our practice. I also suggest if you have some essential oil that you'd like to rub into your hands as we begin our breathing, or just a nice fragrant hand lotion, maybe something with lavender in it that's nice and relaxing and calming. You can grab that and just rub it all over your hands, and then just maybe place your hands in front of your face and take a few breaths there. I'll begin our music this morning. So as we're sitting, just lengthen the spine. If you have your essential oil, you can just make a little cup with your hands, touching your pinky fingers and your thumb together. And just breathe in and out through the nose. If you don't have the essential oils, just press your palms at your heart and begin the two-part breath. As you inhale, let your belly float away from your lower back. Keep inhaling as the ribs flare outward in the bucket handle breath. Then exhale, the ribs funnel in and the belly flattens. Now at any time you can just return to a normal breath flow. Do what feels most calming for you today. If you're struggling with the two-part breath, just let it go and breathe normally. And as you're breathing, I'd like to begin our class just by focusing on the importance of positive affirmations. Thinking positively, speaking positively, and acting positively in our lives. So our words, when we hear them, we internalize those words. And we need to watch our words because they become our thoughts. And we hear those words in our head. We need to watch our thoughts because they become our actions. So we'll focus on positive affirmations, positive words. If we have positive actions, that becomes our character. And our positive character becomes our destiny. Let's bring the palms of the hands to the tops of the knees and start to stir the spine around in a nice circular pattern. Inhaling at the top, exhaling to come around. Nice and smooth. Having someone else text me they're having trouble getting in. Rotate. Let's take one more this direction. Then pause at the top. Send your spine the opposite way. And just check in with your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, neck, hips. Notice how you're feeling today. If you have tight areas, take your time to move, releasing the physical stress. And we'll take one more this direction. And come back to center. Our first pose today is a twist. You can either sit cross-legged or any other position that feels good for your legs, your lower body. And then just reach the left hand towards the right knee. Right hand is behind you. Lengthen your spine and turn, looking over your shoulder. So whenever we twist, the movements are not forced. They're gentle. And the spine is really extended up and long, so we can release any compression from our vertebrae. Now come into that two-part breath. So as you inhale, let your belly expand away from your lower back. Then the rib cage flares outward. Exhaling completely, the ribs funnel in, and the belly collapses back down. This two-part breath fosters relaxation and comfort, stress and anxiety release. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure you're not scrunching them up towards your ears, but gently press downward, connecting with your lat muscles. Now we'll hold this rotation to the right side with the spine, but turn your head to look over the left shoulder and hold here. So this is our spiral rotation. The low back, mid back, and upper back rotating to the right, and just the cervical spine rotating to the left. We'll take two more breaths here. You can close your eyes, or you can look over that shoulder as far as you can see. Cleo Wade said, "Gratitude is a celebration we are all invited to." So I just invite you to share with me in gratitude today. Bring your head back to neutral, and the spine rotates back to neutral. Each time we finish a pose, we'll just stabilize and check in, not rushing to get to the other side, but just notice how your body feels. Right side compared to the left, front compared to the back. Then we'll reach our right hand across to the left knee, left hand reaches behind you, and a gentle rotation and hold. And we're looking over that left shoulder. Gratitude is a celebration we are all invited to. And tomorrow being Thanksgiving, it sure is a different time for us now. Some of us may be isolated away from our families, not able to spend time together. It's difficult to find that gratitude. but we embrace it with all that we truly have in our lives today. We focus on what we have rather than what we do not have. We're coming back into that 2-part breath. If you let it get away from you, it helps to keep our mind and our body connected. Now begin to slowly just rotate your head now over the right shoulder. It's wonderful for range of motion of the cervical spine, of the neck, which we lose over time as we age. That range of motion diminishes as most of us get just a little bit of degenerative disc disease, arthritis in the bones of our neck. And we'll take 2 more breaths here, affirming that gratitude is a celebration we are all invited to. And bring the head back to center and the spine as well. Just check in, finding equilibrium in your spine. If you have a yoga strap, you'll need it for our next pose. If not, you can use maybe a little kitchen towel or a scarf. And we'll take the right foot and extend the leg straight forward. We have 2 different poses on this side as we progress. They'll both stretch the hamstring, but this left leg will do 2 different actions. The first is a seated tree pose. So just let this knee open out and relax, softening through the hip. Your pelvis is aligned straight forward. We'll take our yoga strap and bring it under the ball of the right foot and give it a gentle pull back toward you. So this stretches through the Achilles tendon and up into the calf muscle. From here, take a nice big breath in, lengthen the spine, and exhale and fold. I want you to notice right away what you begin to feel. I just got a sensation in the right side of my lower back that says maybe that's a little bit too deep at the moment. So I'm just going to release off that stretch just a little bit and take my time to come into the pose with each breath. If you have the flexibility and you don't require the yoga strap, you can just reach the fingertips and wrap around your foot, or maybe the peace fingers wrapping into a yoga toe lock. Come back to your 2-part breath. Softening your belly, expanding through your rib cage. And for this pose, I have a quote from Maya Angelou. Nothing can dim the light that shines from within. It's a simple statement, but so positive that there's nothing in our life right now, COVID-19, family issues, and no pain, no suffering that can dim the light that shines from within us. And that's hard sometimes when we're in our darkest moments, and it's hard to find that flicker of light. But let that light shine. Feel confident in the power that your light has with one another, those in your life. Nothing can dim the light that shines from within. Let's take 2 more breaths here. See if you can sink a little deeper into this pose. And then take your time as you come back up. Let your spine relax and lengthen. Now our second piece of this pose is half cow face. So we can take this bent knee and cross it over so the bend in the left knee stacks right on top of the right knee. The left foot is tucked underneath you. So for some of us, this doesn't feel like a comfortable pose to be in. So if that's you, you can come back and do a second round of the seated tree. And just do that one more time for a couple of minutes. Or stack here. Take hold again of your yoga strap. Now if you're doing half cow face with me, this is going to feel like a much deeper stretch on that lower leg hamstring. That's why we're doing it second. So take your time, a nice big inhale, lengthen, and exhale and fold. Ooh, totally different sensations for me on this side. A really deep stretch through the back of the right leg. So we take our time to find our edge in yin yoga practice. That range of motion that's comfortable for us, but yes, pushes the limits a little bit of our flexibility so we can find gains and lengthen the connective tissue. Maybe come back to that 2-part breath. I have a quote from Audrey Hepburn, and you may have heard it before. It's a popular one. She says, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible." Nothing is impossible. I am possible. We're just here 2 more breaths. And then inhale, rising back up. Unfold that left leg extended out to straight. And take a moment just to check in. Now the left leg stays extended, the right knee bends to our seated tree. You might find some very big differences between right and left sides as you start into this pose. Sometimes if your hips are tight, it's nice to take a little prop. I can take my block and just use my leg right up against it to have some support. Let's take our strap, follow the foot, pull it back. Now folding forward is not about hunching and rounding. It's about keeping the spine as long and neutral as possible and hinging forward from your hip rather than rounding from your vertebrae in your spine. So take your time, come back to that 2-part breath. And when we're folded over, it's really hard to get the lower belly to expand. So you might feel this one a lot more in the ribs when you're breathing and even in the back of the rib cage. Notice the sensations you're feeling. And if anything's painful at all, give yourself permission to ease back out of the pose, to adjust and try again. One of my most favorite quotes is from Eleanor Roosevelt. And I first heard this quote when I did my first triathlon back in 2004. It was the Danskin triathlon, and Danskin used this quote For first-time ladies who ever had done a triathlon. This was an all-women's triathlon. And her quote was, "You must do the things you think you cannot do." And I go back from time to time and think about that quote when something's difficult and I think I cannot do something. I rely upon the strength of that quote. You must do the things you think you cannot do. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale, exhale through the nose. And briefly bring yourself up. Now, if you know the half cow face pose is not suiting you today, you can go back again to your seated tree a second time. Or we'll try folding this leg over, stacking the knees. And if they don't actually stack, that's okay too. You just bring them as close as you can. And I'm sitting up on a cushion, which sometimes makes these poses just a little bit easier to get into. We'll take our strap. Take a nice big inhalation. Exhale and sink down. Ooh, I tell you what, totally different pose here. Just take your time. If you try this cow face and you're there for a couple of breaths and it's not working, just come back to your seated tree. My next quote is from Joseph Campbell. He said, "We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." And I think that's true with this time of COVID-19 and sheltering in place. This isn't the life that we planned. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But we've got to be willing to let that go in order to have the life that is waiting for us. So as we let go of the tightness in our hamstrings and hips and lower back, we let go of the life that we had planned in this moment. And just 2 more breaths here. And bring yourself up away from the pose, unfolding that right leg to meet the left. Close your eyes and check in. Our next pose is butterfly, Baddha Konasana. So we bring the soles of the feet together and let both knees open away. Now I like to sometimes use my block to support my forehead in this pose. So we can bring the elbows to the block and cradle the forehead, whatever height of the block works for you. You know, some of you might have the flexibility to go ahead and bring your head all the way down to your feet. It's not something I've been able to do, so props are really nice to use. And we don't have to support the head, but as it's hanging forward and we're stretching in this pose, it's really nice to relax the shoulders and neck so we're not tensing. Our head weighs somewhere between 8 and 10 pounds. And we have it hanging in front of us quite a bit as we're on our phones and computers. So it's really nice just to support your head here in this pose and to relax. Come back to your 2-part breath. A quote from Nicholas Sparks, an author. He said, "The emotion that can break your heart is sometimes the very emotion that heals it." We'll be here in this pose for another 60 seconds. Perhaps you can find a deeper place to go, removing your props. Or maybe you're feeling a little bit tight, need to come out of it just a little bit. Find the place that suits you best. And just 30 seconds remaining, maybe 5 or 6 more slow breaths. And one more breath in and exhale. And bring yourself up. So we're going to stretch the quads next. There's a few different ways we can do this. We can lay on our belly and reach back, grab one of your ankles, pull it to the glute. So if you like that stretch, you can come right now onto your belly. Sometimes that's a difficult place to get a hold of the ankle. So I'm going to show you a sideline option. So we'll come down onto the left side. You can be on your elbow to start so you can reach hold of this ankle. If it's still far away and difficult for you to grab hold of your yoga strap, you can make a little loop in it. Get the strap around your ankle so that you can use the strap to pull your leg back. And then we come all the way down and relax. So I'm pulling my heel towards the buttocks and then also pulling the leg back a little bit. If you're on your belly, you've got your ankle, pulling it to the heel, pulling the heel to the glute, and then relaxing here, maybe making a pillow for your forehead with your opposite hand. And then just breathe as you hold this stretch. Come back to that 2-part breathing. Our quote for this pose is Michelle Obama. Am I good enough? Yes, I am. No questions asked. So as you hold this pose, just repeat that quote to yourself, either out loud at home, or just within your thoughts. And say your name. Lisa, am I good enough? Yes, I am. Say it with confidence, with a powerful voice, with the strength of who you are. I have about 45 seconds left on this side. I know sometimes the arm is tense when we hold onto the ankle, so try to just relax the shoulder of the arm that you're using and not clench too tightly. Come back to that nice relaxing 2-part breath. And we'll take one more nice big inhalation. Exhale to release the ankle. If you're laying on your belly, you can just let it go and straighten both legs out. If you're on your side, press yourself up and sit for just a moment, cross-legged or legs extended out. And then if you're on your belly, we'll reach for the ankle. We'll come on to the opposite side. So sometimes because of knee replacements or knee surgery, we don't have the range of motion to get the heel all the way back to the butt. So if you've got reduced range of motion, if you can still get a hold of the foot, or maybe with your yoga strap, if you keep pulling the leg back more, you'll still get the stretch through the quadricep. If your stretch looks like this, you're not getting that muscle to lengthen out. So let's find that nice deep stretch wherever it feels comfortable for you. And hold. You can close your eyes, just come back to that 2-part breath. And I have a quote from Mr. Rogers. Yes, he's a positive guy. He said, "Who you are inside is what helps you make and do everything in life." And so if we're a positive person, that we are inside, that positivity helps us make and do everything in life in a positive manner. I know sometimes it's hard to see the glass half full and not half empty. But positive words do lead to positive thoughts, positive actions. They build our character and they form our destiny. Just keep breathing here, just about another 45 seconds. See if you can deepen that pose. 2 more breaths. Exhale, relax. If you're laying on your belly, just press yourself up to child's pose. And if you're on your side, just give yourself a little turn. Widen your knees. Reach the fingertips out long towards the top of your mat. And bring your forehead down, relaxing in child's pose. Now take your time to transition down onto your back. If you have a yoga block, this is really nice for the next pose, a little hip flexor release and a supported back bend. If you do not have a block, you can also just tuck a pillow under your lower back or a nice folded up towel or blanket. And that prop is going to lift your hips up away from the floor. So let's come down onto our back. And then if you have a block, you have 3 different heights to choose from. As you press the hips up into bridge, slide that block right underneath the pelvis. So we don't want it underneath the spine itself. We want it to support the broad section of the hips. So from this position, just slide your right leg out until it straightens. You should feel a little stretch through your hip flexor here. And then we'll hug the opposite knee up into your chest. Now, if you absolutely don't have any props to support your hips up, that's okay. Just laying flat on your back with your knee into your chest is a really therapeutic low back stretch. So we'll just hug that knee in and let this lower leg feel heavy and relaxed. Now we can also extend this leg up if you'd rather have another little bit of a hamstring stretch, or even take your strap under the bottom of the foot and hold here. Just close your eyes, come back to that 2-part breath. And our quote for this pose. This is J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter books. And she said, "We do not need magic to transform our world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already." So there's no magic involved. There's no secret potion or magic words. We have the power inside us to transform our world. We have the power. Just do a little scan of your body from head to toe and make sure you're not tensing or tightening any areas. Sometimes when we're holding a stretch, we tend to clench our jaw or wrinkle our eyebrows up a little bit or hunch our shoulders up next to our ears. So just let everything really relax and melt away any tension. Let your jaw slightly separate and your eyelids feel heavy. And just one more breath here. Then if you've extended that leg up, just rebend the knee and set your foot back down. Bend both knees and check in. We'll slowly slide the left heel out on the floor until that leg straightens, to relax through the hip flexor and pull the right knee up to the chest. If you'd like to take it further, that leg slowly extends up, maybe using your strap or holding behind the thigh. We activate the 2-part breath. Inhale belly and ribs. Exhale ribs and belly. Notice any differences you feel from one side to the other, and try not to be judgmental. Sometimes we say negative things to ourselves, like, "Oh, I used to be more flexible," or Oh, so-and-so does this really nicely, but I wish I could do it like that. So just embrace who you are today, where your flexibility is, and be proud of that, proud of who you are in this moment. And we'll take just a couple more breaths here. And if the leg is extended, rebend the knee. And then set the feet to the floor. Now you can keep both knees bent here in a supported bridge, or if it feels okay for you, try sliding both legs out straight, which opens up both of your hip flexors. You can allow your toes to rotate open. Just relax your thighs. If this does not feel good for your lower back, don't push it. Just come here to a bent knee supported bridge. We'll just be here a brief amount of time. A nice quote from Sonia Sotomayor, Supreme Court Justice. She said, "I have never ever focused on the negative of things. I always look at the positive." That's really difficult to do sometimes. Let's make a pact with ourselves. As we're in this time of gratitude, of Thanksgiving, to focus on the positive and refuse to focus on the negative. It's amazing. It really does have an effect on others around you. If you're positive and you set that good example, it's catching. Others begin to follow suit. And just one more breath here. A nice big 2-part breath, expanding the ribs fully and exhaling completely. We'll rebend the knees, lift up off your prop, slide it out from the hips, and then we need a little bit of a counter stretch here for our lower back. So either just hug the knees into your chest, maybe make some circles, or we can take happy baby pose by bringing the feet up, separating the knees about shoulders width apart, grab hold of the feet, and give the knees a little pull down towards the armpits. You can rock a little side to side. Our next stretch is the figure 4 stretch. It's a reclining pigeon pose and really nice for the deep external rotators of the hips. If you prefer traditional pigeon, you can come up off the floor and roll over and come into pigeon as well. Otherwise, we'll take the right foot, flex it, and cross that ankle on top of the right thigh, and then just let the knee open away from you briefly. And then we'll start to pull the knees up towards the chest, and I'm using my left leg to push in to stretch the right hip. If can also use your arms to reach through, grabbing behind your thigh, or even grab behind the outside of the shin, wherever feels comfortable, and pull that in. Get a really good stretch here in the glute, and the outer thigh. This is also a nice pose to do up against a wall. So if you could imagine my left foot here being placed up against the wall for a little bit of pressure, or even dangle your leg up on top of a chair is nice as well. So we'll hold this pose, come back to that 2-part breath. This is a nice quote from Martin Luther King Jr. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. We do have those things in our life that are disappointing, that are painful and sorrowful, and we must accept that finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. We're here about another 60 seconds. We can also take a pose called Cradle the Baby. So the inside of your elbow can hug around the knee. The inside of the other elbow can hug around the foot. Then you can lower that leg down or bend the knee as you hold this leg in toward you. So if you're pretty flexible, Cradle the Baby should be accessible for you. Three more deep breaths. And then lower the leg down, uncross the ankle, pause, and notice the sensations you're feeling. Just let your body come back to equilibrium. You'll start to feel those sensations dissipating slowly. And then flex that left ankle, cross it over the right thigh, press that knee open and away from you for our figure 4. And then pull those knees up. And then choose the depth that you'd like to go here. Make sure you're not feeling any pain, just a gentle stretch. Check to make sure you're not tensing the muscles in your arms if you're holding on to the legs. Just clasp the fingers and then just let your arms relax. There's really no work that needs to be done here. A quote from the actress Glenn Close. She said, "Your perspective is unique. It's important and it counts." Sometimes we feel that what we think about something maybe doesn't really matter. We're not taken seriously, but what your perspective is in life is important and it counts. So feel confident in that perspective with a positivity and a strong heart and mind. If your mind is wandering, come back to that 2-part breath. Reconnecting mind and body. And perhaps you can deepen this pose, wrapping into cradle the baby for the last few breaths. One more deep breath in. Exhaling anything negative that no longer serves you today. And then we'll slowly uncross the ankle, coming back to check in. We finished today with reclined butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet touch and the knees gently open. Now, if you're chilled at home, you have a little blanket you'd like to cover yourself with, or I have a heavier yoga blanket, and it's sometimes nice to place that right to the inside of the legs to give yourself some heaviness, to ground into the mat, to relax the thighs and the hips. Any position with your arms. You can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. You can bring your arms to goalpost position to open up the chest and shoulders, or just next to the sides of your body, palms up. Our last quote is from the author, Toni Morrison. She said, "Your life is already a miracle of chance, waiting for you to shape its destiny." And remember that our words become our thoughts. Our thoughts become our actions. Our actions build our character. And our character guides our destiny. So find a positive thought, a positive mantra for yourself today. And if one doesn't come to your mind, just say, "I am positive." You can speak those words aloud or within the confines of our heart. Now, if you're here at home and you need more time in relaxation, you can remain as you are. No hurry to rise. If you're following the sound of my voice, allow your knees to slowly close back together from your butterfly. And we'll choose a side to roll over towards and lift the arm above the head of that side you're going to roll to. Pick up your hips and just turn over onto that side and create a little pillow for the side of your head. We take our time getting up so the blood pressure can slowly rise. Pressing into that top hand, we'll slowly come up to a comfortable seat. I am so grateful for all of you. You know, I just don't know how we would get through this time without each other. I miss those times of walking into Studio D at the Y and saying hello and feeling that sense of community, seeing your smiles and your faces. It's a longing that I have to be back to that time. But I'm so grateful for this opportunity, this virtual opportunity to see you online and continue to share with you and to lead you and guide you. So we press our palms together at heart center. With the bow, the chin towards the chest. Expressing gratitude and honor. And we'll bring our thumbs to the center of the forehead, our third eye center of awareness and wisdom, for positive thoughts. Bring the thumbs to the lips for positive words. And the thumbs back to the heart for positive actions that create our character and shape our destiny. It's my honor to teach you this morning. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me for this special yoga class today. I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. Tomorrow we'll be with our families and our friends in our hearts. I'll shut off our recording if anyone would like to say hello.